I want to know why you have that feeling in the first place. Let's get to the root of the issue. Because when you get to the root of the issue, then amazingly, the cravings and the need to reduce or suppress whatever you want to say go away, right? Those cravings go away. They almost vanish when you deal with the root of the issue, when you deal with the heart of the stress.
Hello there. I am Haley, the head coach here at My Body Tutor.
And I'm Adam, the founder of My Body Tutor.
And today, Adam, we are going to crack into one of the biggest struggles we see here at My Body Tutor, and it's stress eating,
Ooh,
right?
yes, this is a good one. I'm really excited to dig into this.
Yeah, I think it's timely too, right? I mean, nothing is really more stressful than the holidays.
No doubt. Holidays, family responsibilities, work responsibilities towards the year end. It gets to be a lot.
Yeah, and there's plenty of food
Yes.
everywhere. Lucky
Yes.
us.
Yes.
So let's start out. Tell us, Adam, what is stress eating exactly? Which, listen, I mean, we know what it is, but give us a crash course here.
Yeah. Stress eating is when we're using food to cope with the feeling of stress, whether it's overwhelm, frustration, whatever it is, we're using food when we feel uncomfortable. We're using food when we're feeling stressed.
Okay. Now, I think there's a delineation we should make here. Let me ask you this question.
Yes.
Does food eliminate stress?
No, definitely not. So food is very, very good at suppressing stress, but it is not good at reducing it, right? So you'll feel stressed, you eat, you're pushing that stress down. Imagine you're stuffing a garbage can with the bags, you're trying to push it down, but you're suppressing it. You're not actually reducing the stress. Big, big
Right.
difference.
Right. And then when the eating is done and the suppression subsides, because it does, it's not long lasting. What are we left with?
Those feelings of wanting to escape that stress return right back.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, stress eating is the use of food to suppress the feelings of stress.
Yes. And if you don't know better, it feels like you're reducing it. But I think once you understand that difference, you realize, hey, do I even want to do this? I'm just kind of kicking the can down the road. And sure, it's tempting in the moment, but it's not actually helping you reduce stress. And I think we would all agree logically, rationally, right? When we're not in that stressful moment, we want to reduce it. We don't want to suppress it.
Right. Right. So, okay, let's talk about what we can do once we've recognized that we are stress eating. And first of all, you have a great tool for identifying that. So, why don't you give us a quick refresher on that?
Yeah, the first question to ask yourself is, am I using this food or am I eating this food or enjoying this food, right? Am I using it or am I enjoying it? And, I've come up with the broccoli test, which is this idea that if you're not in the mood for broccoli or insert any vegetable, then you're not actually physically hungry, right? Right? You're emotionally hungry. In this case, you're stress hungry, right? You're emotionally hungry to reduce that stress. So ask yourself, am I using this food or am I enjoying this food? And when we're tempted to stress eat, we're absolutely using it. We're not enjoying it.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, let's, for the sake of this discussion, we're all tuning in here and we're all in a position where we are or have used food. So, what would you recommend? We've identified we're feeling stressed. We're using food to suppress the stressful feelings, the uncomfortable feelings. What do we do now?
Yes. So very quickly, the old school method is you feel a certain way, you have these cravings, whatever it might be, and you just will yourself to push through that craving, and maybe you even eat something else to replace it, but you're just using willpower. And
Hmm.
the MBT method, the My Body Tutor method, is instead of focusing on just working through that feeling, I want to know why you have that feeling in the first place. Let's get to the root of the issue. Because when you get to the root of the issue, then amazingly, the cravings and the need to reduce or suppress whatever you want to say go away, right? Those cravings go away. They almost vanish when you deal with the root of the issue, when you deal with the heart of the stress.
Yes. And I will say, Adam, that is something that I think most people who come to work with us understand. But once you experience that, I mean, really digging down and figuring out why it is you are feeling so stressed and learning to address it, man, there is nothing better. And you can set willpower right up on the shelf and let it collect dust, because we've all been there. We've all been there where we're like, I have no willpower anymore. I am out
Right.
and this is not working, right?
Yep.
But like you said, getting to the root, I mean, this is the solution.
Yes.
So how do we do that? How do we get
Yes.
to the root of the issue?
So the first thing I always like to ask clients is when they tell me they feel stressed, I say, great. First off, thank you for sharing, but let's get specific, because it's very easy to come home after a long day or during a long day and say, I'm very stressed. Let's break it down and say, I'm very stressed because of A, B, C, etc. I want us to get specific, because when we learn to compartmentalize, that was easy for me to say. When you learn to break it down, right, and identify exactly what you're stressed about, you realize that my whole life isn't stressed. It's usually just a few things, 1, 2, or 3 things usually, right? So
Right.
first step is identifying exactly what the stress is, so you can realize, all right, my whole life isn't stressed or stressful. It's just a few things. And then we move forward from there. Does that make sense?
It does. I think it's very easy to generalize stress, right? And just choose to live in that space. So I think narrowing it down, really siloing the handful of things that are causing you to feel stress, um, gives you a great first place to start, right?
Yes.
Because if we're talking about getting to the root of the issue and frankly taking action on those things, if you can't identify it, well, good luck trying to figure out what action you should take.
Right. And I'm going to give you one of my favorite techniques to do that. Remember
Okay.
Staples? They had that easy button. You
Yes.
press the easy button.
Yes.
So here's the challenge, or here's the technique. Imagine someone grants you an easy button and you can use it for 1, 2, or 3 things. What would those things be? And that very quickly helps bring to the surface what is truly bothering you, what is stressing you out. What would I use the
Staples
magic
easy
easy
button.
button on? Yep.
Love it. I love it. And that is so catchy and easy to remember, because that commercial is forever etched into all of our minds.
Yes.
So- awesome. So the easy button discussion is step number 1. I'm stress eating. I have an easy button. What would I solve if I could hit it?
Exactly. The second
Okay.
thing is, am I stressing over the weather? Now, the weather here, I'm just using as, something you can't control, right? We can't stress over the weather. So am I stressing over something that is within my control or not in my control? And if you're stressing over something not in your control, then that's a separate discussion, but we need to also break that down, because I choose, and it's certainly a choice and it's hard at times, to try to focus on the things I can control. I find life to be a little more manageable and enjoyable when I'm doing that versus stressing over everything I can't control.
I love it. I love it. And I think that is really, really powerful, because it's easy to start just stressing about anything and everything. And I think to the things that are out of our control, one thing you can say to yourself, if you're looking to reduce stress and take action to address that item, whatever it is on your list, that if it's the weather you can't control, is, can I prepare for it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's within your control, right? We can't control if it's going to rain on your kid's birthday party day and you have 20 guests supposed to show up for an outdoor backyard barbecue. Well, what can you do to prepare for it? That is within your control, being
Yes.
prepared.
Yes. We all have the 2
So
arrows, right? The first arrow is what happens or whatever. The second arrow is how we respond to it. And in your case,
Right.
maybe we get tents, maybe we buy, ponchos, whatever it might be. We can prepare, we can respond to the source of the stress, but we can't actually control it. And that's a huge distinction that I think just makes life, again, a lot, or sometimes a little or a lot more enjoyable and manageable.
yes. So, okay, we've identified that we're stress eating. We've identified what is causing our stress. We've even broken that down. Is it something I can control or can't control, but could be prepared for? Now, something that I see a lot, Adam, when working with clients on stress eating, is the expectation that this will solve the problem immediately.
Mm.
This approach to digging up the root cause should therefore eliminate any further stress eating from our days. Would that be accurate?
People want that. Yes, some people expect that they're going to overcome their stress eating habit, their pattern immediately. Yes.
Right. So I think it's really important that we clarify it is a habit for most of us, right? It's something that is unconscious, it's automatic, it's programmed. And so one thing we would have to do, right, in order to kind of slow that down and start to reprogram that behavior is to come up with a way to interrupt it.
Mhm.
If you in hindsight recognize that you stress eat, you could apply the pause practice, or what I like to call a but first.
Mm.
And so what I'll do with my clients, Adam, is sometimes, they'll say to me, okay, I stress eat in this scenario. Okay, let's identify a but first you're willing to do before you turn to food. And I think this is important in expectation setting for anybody who is trying to change the habit of stress eating. It is going to take time, and you are still going to eat in response to your stress. What's important is you recognize it, you are trying to address the underlying causes of your stress, and you give yourself time and patience to change how you cope, to change eating as your only coping mechanism for stress. So I like a but first, Adam. Can you think of any good recommendations for but first practices?
I love it. That's so important. And of course, many of us often only focus on the times we use food in response to stress and ignore all the times that we chose something else. And, we often say, here I go again. I challenge you to focus on the here I go agains with your new practices and new behaviors, and, try to focus on the positive changes you're making. But to answer your question, or second in this case, my go-tos when I feel stressed, number one, I always make a list. I love making lists because it helps me. I'm a big fan of LOLing, living out loud and laughing out loud. In this case, living out loud. The more we can get this stuff out of our head, the more we're able to deal with these feelings. And it just reduces the intensity of these feelings. So I always like to write out a list of exactly what is stressing me out. And that helps tremendously. Because I realize, all right, it's a few things. It's not everything. The second thing I do is I'll reach out to a friend, usually via text, share a funny memory, just check in with them. Just get out of my head, right? And focus on someone else always helps. Another go-to mine is I love watching clips on YouTube of comedians, old shows, just even like a 3 to 5 minute clip, just could really help me reduce that feeling of stress. It changes how I feel, which is really important. And then last but not least, and I know this is a go-to of yours, is movement. Moving my body, time spent in our body, is when we're spending time in our body, we're usually out of our head, which is the goal. In those types of moments, right? So any type of movement really, really helps, whether it's going for a walk, lifting some weights. But realistically, when I'm feeling stressed, I'm in the middle of a workday, whatever it might be, usually go for a quick walk. Helps tremendously. How about you?
You know me so well. Movement is like a number one for me. I love your list tactic. I kind of liken it to like the junk drawer. I have a junk drawer. It feels a little stressful when I open it up because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to close it. And every once in a while, I just take it right out and dump it out on the table.
Yep.
So to me, that's kind of like your list idea, right? Like make order of the mayhem.
Yes.
Another big one for me, and here, I think one thing I hear is I don't have time. I don't have time in my day to reduce stress. But I remind my clients regularly, you have to let a little steam off the pot throughout the day. Otherwise, you're just a pressure cooker. And I don't know if you remember those old school pressure cookers. I don't think this is how they work now, but they had that little like thing on the top that would like
Yes.
right?
I have the visual perfectly. Yep.
Yes, that's where we're headed if we're not letting the steam off the pot. So I like that many of the things you identified take only a couple of minutes. And one of my favorite things, because I think we all need more of it, is to step out on my back deck and look up at the sky and look up at the trees
Hmm.
and listen to the birds. I mean, it sounds so cheesy, but it's literally like letting steam off that pot for me.
Yeah.
And I take a few deep breaths and then I'm like, okay, I just tended to that for a second, reduce the pressure, and now I can get back to it. And I think so many people really struggle with the idea that letting the steam off the pot must need 30 minutes. It
Mm.
must need an hour here
Right.
and there.
Nobody's got time
No,
for that. Nobody got time for that.
no, no. But I'll tell you what, your body and your brain are going to take over later on in the day and that pot is going to explode, right?
Yes. And this is where, and I get it. I feel you. Like the workaholic, the person who is in survivor mode, who has no time whatsoever, who's going from meeting to meeting, whatever, is like, I don't have time for any of this. I get it. And the trickiest thing is, and we've been at this for 18 years now, it is so tempting when life gets busy, when life gets stressful and overwhelming, to prune everything besides like work. And that's usually the source of stress, right?
Mhm.
And we want to prune everything else out of our life. But the problem is that's not going to help you to operate at a better level. And what I mean by that is like when you're taking care of yourself, and I know, again, someone who's in survival mode is like, curling their lips, rolling their eyes, like, but when you're taking care of yourself and you're focusing on the fundamental things, like your nutrition, like your movement, it helps you to deal with everything a little and sometimes a lot better. There's no question
Yes.
about that. But when we're in those moments, we're always tempted to turn off the dial versus turn it down. And my counter to you is when you're in those tough weeks or days, aim for something. Something. Again, all or nothing leads to nothing every single time. Instead of all or nothing, aim for always something. A little focus on your nutrition, on your movement will help you to be a better version of yourself. And it allows you to deal with the stress so much more effectively.
It really does. And it does not take a lot of time. That's the thing. That's if you believe that, you've been sold a lie. It does
Yes.
not require a lot of time. And actually, I had a client say to me a couple weeks ago, she was like, yeah, honestly, I hadn't tried taking a couple of deep breaths when we agreed that I would slow down and check in with myself because I didn't think it would be enough time. She's like, but I did it today and it actually worked.
Right.
I'm
And
like,
we
yes.
right. I mean, we work with some of the busiest people on the planet. I get it. It's tough. It's tough to get them to take action on a small thing, but I
Yes.
promise you it works so well. It really does.
Yep.
And that is what I want for you this season is we're all likely going to feel stressed at some point. We're all really going to have some busy days, evenings, whatever it might be. Challenge yourself to do something instead of nothing. And
Yep.
you will find your capacity to deal with everything just improves greatly.
It absolutely will. So, with that said, and you've said the word, what's the challenge for this week?
So, I'm a sucker for acronyms. I want us to build our TFS, right? Our tolerance for stress. And
Okay.
this week, next time you're tempted to stress eat, instead of doing that, I want you to do something else. Go for a walk, text a friend, watch a funny video for 3 to 5 minutes, whatever it might be. Get some sunlight into your eyes, feel the ground on your feet, whatever it might be. Stare into nature if that's possible. Try doing that and let us know how that feels. That's my challenge for you. So instead of immediately reacting to stress and eating, respond to stress and do something else and let us know how it feels. And what you
Yes.
realize
And
is, oh, sorry, go.
I was going to say, make that decision now. If you're listening to this, I want you to decide now what that but first action will be. Don't wait until the moment because that won't work. That won't work out very well. Decide now.
Yes. So in order to build our TFS, our tolerance for stress, we need to determine what our BFA is, our but first action. And do that now before you're in the moment. It'll help you so much. And what my favorite part of all this is you realize you can deal with the stress, and you realize that actually dealing with it and opening the door to stress instead of ignoring it is actually the most effective and truly only way to overcome stress or emotional eating, right? You could just say stress eating is a form of emotional eating or a type of emotional eating, right? This is the only way. And let's say you have this massive, daunting project, break it down into smaller chunks, right? Write it down, but get it out of your head. LOL, right? Live out loud. And you realize you can deal with the stress in bite sized chunks, but just get it out of your head.
Absolutely. I hope everybody was taking notes. There's a lot of acronyms that Adam put out there today.
Sorry.
I love them. No, I love them. I think we got 3. It's pretty good. All right, guys. So you have your challenge for the week. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, take good care.